So what is LeBron really saying, right? We all saw his quote from the other day, in which he says, "Hey, we're all going in different directions. I'm about winning at this point in my career, and if y'all don't want to do that, I'm willing to be traded. You could get rid of me." That's what LeBron said, right? For all practical purposes, paraphrasing, that's what the dude said, right? But what is he really saying when he says that? So today, headline is Rich Paul gave Lakers and Luka Doncic advance notice of LeBron's statement. Rest of the NBA is surprised. I'm not surprised. LeBron is saying what a certain fragment of the Laker fan base has been saying for years now. You know, you keep hearing these talking heads yell about certain types of things that the Lakers need, and the talking heads have been wrong. They're wrong. You know, you can't just acquire 3-and-Ds and 3-and-D your way out of this shit. That's not what LeBron James wants. That's not what he's talking about. LeBron James is talking about moves that make the Lakers championship contenders. And more specifically, LeBron James is talking about how Rob Pelinka is a failure. How Rob Pelinka and Jeanie Buss have been using him like a cash cow. Let me tell you something. When LeBron James opted into every penny of his contract, opted into every penny of that $50-something million, when he opted into that, and then he releases this statement in conjunction with him opting into that, he's saying, look, man, I'm not giving these assholes any quarter. I'm not giving them any room to do anything because all they care about is themselves. Yes, simple-minded people will look and say, well, if LeBron James wants the team to be better, how come he ain't take less money? Right? I wouldn't take less money either. I take every freaking penny that Jeanie Buss and Rob Pelinka offer me. Because the Lakers operate like a joke. That's why. Rob Pelinka is the worst general manager I've ever seen manage the Lakers. Granted, I've only seen Jerry Buss and Mitch Kupchak. That's true. Right? But I've rarely seen general managers be as incompetent as, I'm talking about league-wide, as Rob Pelinka has been. And you guys keep giving him credit for building the championship team in 2020. And building is such an intellectually dishonest term to say. Intellectually dishonest. He fucked off getting Tyronn Lue, right? He messed up when it came to Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, which I'm not saying that would have been a better option. I'm saying that got messed up. And by the time we signed people, we were literally signing anything that was left in the league. The Lakers won the title because the Lakers had LeBron James and Anthony Davis circa 5 years ago. That's why they won the title. Okay? They acquired Anthony Davis with the same deal that Magic Johnson had on the table during the year. That's why the Lakers won the title. Okay? This is an indictment of Jeanie Buss and Rob Pelinka shifting the business model from winning to making money. In the past, the Lakers would win and they knew they would make money. Now the Lakers are trying to make money and hope they could win. They're trying to appease the fan base, first and foremost. Jeanie Buss and Rob Pelinka are about not having the finger pointed at them. If you guys haven't noticed lately, and I gotta say this, man, I've never seen in the times that I've been watching the Lakers, I've been a Laker fan since about 1982-83. In the time that I've watched the Lakers, I've never seen players take the brunt of the blame for what the general manager has done until Jeanie Buss and Rob Pelinka took over. Once Jeanie Buss and Rob Pelinka took over, it's like everything was everyone else's fault. And then they get to a point where it's like, okay, we've run out of people to blame. do we need to start looking at Rob Pelinka and Jeanie Buss? Have Rob Pelinka and Jeanie Buss been cheapskates? Right? Even when you look at stuff like Ivica Zubac's walking, first that was put on Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson, he was not the GM at that time. Did Magic Johnson co-sign it? Yes. But Rob Pelinka and Jeanie Buss walked away from that clean. Right? Jeanie Buss walked away from Ivica Zubac clean. Do I put that on Magic? Yes. But my point is, they walked away from it clean. Alex Caruso. We are just now getting to the point where I feel like Laker Nation is starting to look at Jeanie Buss and Rob Pelinka and saying, what the fuck? Right? And what you see is that for all the players that either walked away and for all the assets that we gave up, what do we have to show for it? That's the thing. And if any of you guys who say, well, we got the 2020 bubble championship to show for it, how long are you going to say that? How many more years are you going to say that? How many more years are you going to let them live off of the 2020 bubble championship? That was 5-6 years ago. How long are you guys going to let that go? And I need to make a statement, because LeBron James is a grown effing man. When I say grown man, I mean the dude got gray in his beard. He's 40 something years old now. He's a grown man. So, as a grown man myself, right? And again, I don't mean to demean anyone. You know, if you're 20 something years old, yeah, you're a grown man too. You know, I get that. What I'm saying is that he's in a phase of his life. That's what I should have said. He is in a phase of his life where he recognizes the bullshit. You can't get him anymore on the bullshit. In my opinion, he recognized it. He started to recognize it when he was with Cleveland. And he realized Dan Gilbert was using him as a cash cow. Well, the Lakers got a new cash cow now. A cash cow that bought them more time. Right? Luka bought the Lakers more time. And if Luka don't watch out, even though I think things will change under this new management, even though my understanding is new management is not taking over until this whole transactional season in the NBA is done. If Luka does not watch out, because Jeanie Buss wants to maintain her status, her identity in the Lakers, she needs to take her ass and go. Jeanie Buss needs to be gone. But she's worried about maintaining her status in the Lakers. But I'll make a video about that, probably right after this. But if Luka don't watch out, he'll be a cash cow too. You know? And LeBron James recognizes being a cash cow. When he was with Cleveland put together the most incompetent team around, in my opinion, what was the best player in the NBA before he went to Miami. He was surrounded with a team that was... It was negligent. Negligence on the GM and owner's part, because they didn't have to do anything. You got LeBron James, you're good until... If LeBron James stayed with Cleveland for 20 years, Cleveland would have been profitable for 20 years. And when I say Cleveland would have been profitable, I mean the owners. Right? They would have done great. And that's what they were concerned about. And that's what the Lakers have become when they put when they put business ahead of winning. Winning should be number one. The business will follow. You know? And that's what the Lakers haven't done. And that's what LeBron James is saying. That's what he is saying to Laker Nation. Without saying it to Laker Nation, he's saying it to Laker Nation. He's letting you guys know, look, man, these people are incompetent. These people are negligent. Right? They don't know their jobs. They don't know their business. They don't understand. I'm on the court trying to win. They're trying to make money. And that's where the conflict is coming. You know, how is it that you could get arguably the best player in the NBA and LeBron is still making the statements he's making? Because your ownership does not give a shit about winning. That's why he's making those statements, you guys. He's telling you. It's frustrating as, and a lot of you guys, the older you get, you'll get to where I am. You'll get to where LeBron is, right? If you're watching this and you're, 20-something years old, you got a lot more patience for the bullshit, right? But there's going to get to a point where you're going to hit a line where it's like, you know what, man, F this bullshit, man. I'm not putting up with it. They don't have my best interest in mind. They don't have the Lakers' best interest in mind. They don't have Laker fans' best interest in mind. Their whole thing is to make you believe they're doing everything in their power to put the best product on the court they can. And they're not. They're not. Because ever since Jerry West and Jerry Buss left the organization, and especially when Jeanie Buss took over, the Lakers have not done everything in their power to put a winning product on the court. It was a little bit better under Mitch Kupchak, even though those years weren't great. The dude tried to do something. He came up under Jerry West. The dude had a plan. The Lakers got no plan anymore. The only plan is to acquire a superstar and ensure that the numbers look right. That's what LeBron James is trying to tell you guys. That's what he's trying to tell me. That's what he's trying to tell the world. He's trying to do it in the most polite way possible. But he's telling you that these people won't get up off their ass to do anything. And if this transactional season, I'm talking about if this off season falls under Jeanie Buss's regime. In other words, if the papers aren't going to be signed and new management can't come in because the papers aren't going to be signed until November, December timeframe, which is what my understanding is, then the Lakers may very well fuck off an entire offseason again, just like they did last year. For Rob Pelinka not to make a move in last year's offseason, fireable. He should have been fired. But he won't be fired because the person who's co-signing this wants this. It's Jeanie Buss. Jeanie Buss does not want him to do something that's going to cost her a gang more money. It may not work. Think about that. It might not work. So she does not want to do it. She'd rather maintain the status quo. The status quo ain't going to win you championships, y'all. It's not going to win you championships. And when I see these statements and the statements that are coming out from LeBron James' camp, right? That's what he's trying to tell you. Rich Paul gave advance notice to both the Los Angeles Lakers and LeBron James' teammates, plural, before releasing a statement about James' championship aspirations alongside news that the superstar was exercising his $52.6 million player option for the 2025-2026 season. I have been told by Rich he made it very well known to Luka and his representation, as well as the Lakers, that these statements were coming, said Brian Windhorst on Monday's episode of the Hoop Collective podcast, that this was done on a fully professional level, and there is nothing meant to surprise anybody. Speaking of surprising, however, then this statement came out. I began to call teams, and I don't want to get into the who and what and who I talked to, but let's just say I identified the handful of teams that I could see LeBron trying to be traded to. I'm not going to talk about which teams I talked to, but I did not find a team who was prepared for this. In other words, all of them that I talked to, I didn't talk to 29 teams, I talked to a handful of teams, and they were all caught flat-footed by this. Where does that come from? You get Luka Doncic, and LeBron still thinks that you don't have the assets or don't have the wherewithal to make the team better. Where does that come from? That's the $1 million question. Where do LeBron James statements come from? And while a lot of you may be tired of LeBron, right? You got LeBron fatigue, and I kind of get that. Dude's been around 22 years. If the Lakers want to be a championship team and you got LeBron and Luka, you should be able to work something out, but you can't. And LeBron doesn't think you can. And LeBron is telling Luka, hey, look, man, you might be able to do it with the new management that comes in, but these motherfuckers don't give a shit about how much you win. Just get your ass on the court and keep filling this building and keep making the Lakers relevant. That's what they're concerned with. That's what LeBron is saying. That's where LeBron is coming from. And LeBron is not wrong. Y'all keep pointing the finger at LeBron if you want. LeBron is trying to get you a championship team. But keep pointing the finger at LeBron if you want. LeBron ain't the problem. LeBron is on some grown man, professional, honest, character-driven type shit. That's what LeBron is on right now. That's what he's trying to tell you. Right? You're the Los Angeles Lakers. You just got arguably the best player in the NBA. The face of the NBA, arguably. And you're LeBron James, and you're saying, y'all keep letting them stroke you if you want. These motherfuckers ain't doing shit. I could see if it was an offseason under new management. I don't know who's managing the Lakers right now. They're in flux. You know? And LeBron is saying, y'all go ahead and fall for the okie doke if you want. These cats ain't doing shit. When I was, 35 years old and Anthony Davis was 26 or 28 years old, yeah, maybe we could pull this off. We can't pull this shit off now. Not with these incompetent motherfuckers. We can't do it. No way. That's what LeBron is saying. You know what I mean? That's where he's coming from. And I get it. Anyway, y'all, please like and subscribe. On this channel, man, I try to tell the truth. I don't have to have the governors on myself because I don't think I'm ever going to make any money off this shit. I don't care. You know what I mean? I may not be the first to come out with the news. I got a square, straight job. I'm an engineer. I got a straight job I got to, worry about. But as I hear stuff, I'm going to speak to it because I got a different perspective. I've lived a different life. I've been a Laker fan since for 40 something years. Die-hard Laker fan. I live in Northern Virginia and I see things and I know certain things, man. And I know certain things about people. I've seen them. I've lived in that society in which you have a manager and a general manager and upper management and shit, man. And let me tell you something, man. Some of these guys ain't worth a damn. They're not worth a damn. And it is a good old boy network. And Jeanie Buss propagated a good old boy network. And now we're seeing good old boy network shit. We're seeing unqualified people stroke you. Try to make you feel like they're qualified and they're worth it and they're worthwhile. And everything they do is for your best interest. It is not true. Not true. What they do is for their best interests. That's what the Lakers are on right now. When Dad was running shit and Jerry West was running shit, it was about you. It was about the Lakers. And if it's about the Lakers, it's about you. But right now, this shit is about Jeanie Buss and her pocket. And Rob Pelinka is her lapdog. And I know Laker Nation won't say it, and the Kamenetsky brothers won't say it, and Alan Sleewa won't say it, and I get it. Y'all can't just say it. I'm going to say it. This is about Jeanie Buss, and Rob Pelinka is her lapdog. And LeBron James is letting you know, because it makes no sense that you get arguably the best player in the world, and you still want out? What are you saying? You're saying you don't have faith in Laker management. That's what you're saying. So, hey man, that's what it is. I don't have to worry about anybody coming and telling me, yo, you need to tone it down and all this other shit. I'm not making a dime off of this channel. That's what it is, y'all. All right, y'all, be cool.